Sonke Gender Justice was established in 2006 by 3 gender activists. Essentially, the word Sonke means all of us. We established it in response to what we saw at the time, that whenever you referred to the word gender, people assumed you are just talking about women. Our argument was that if we want to take the gender struggle forward, we do need to have everyone on board.
As a feminist and a human rights organization which seeks to make a world a place where men, women, children, and gender non-conforming individuals enjoy equitable, healthy, and caring relationships.
Part of the work that we do, of course, is to ensure that we use what we call the spectrum of change, which is a theory that ensures that when you do this work, you interact with people at an individual level, you interact with their peers, you interact with communities, you interact with policy processes, you interact with what we call structural drivers, your government and policymakers, so that you can ensure that the change is sustained and it's embedded in all aspects of life in society.
Through the Men Engage Africa Network, which is a network that consists of 24 countries in Africa, we have been able to capacitate most of our Men Engage network partners and build a movement of gender justice advocates, be at national level, be at local level, be at regional level or international level. We try as much as we can to ensure that the language of male engagement and the language of gender transformation is included in the norms, in the treaties, and in the policies that are implemented at national level.
Some of the interventions that we do is with court monitoring, which seeks to improve the access to justice for survivors. We work with community action team members, and we also train the local media spaces in terms of reporting and how they engage with the survivors to avoid a secondary victimization.
We work closely to build the capacity of policymakers, build the capacity of organizations, community-based organizations. We also intervene through working with religious and traditional leaders. So it's really building the capacity of partners to be able to implement at national level.
One of the angles to arrive at it is to have community education and mobilization. We ensure that the defined community should ensure that the issue that concerns Sonke, which is gender-based violence response and prevention, is highlighted, is known, there's a conscious, people can empathize with survivors as an example, but also to do something about it. When we see collective action, we say, aha, we have arrived at community education.
We conduct research within the organization to inform organizational program. We also set up systems that ensure that we monitor programs effectively. After that, we evaluate programs to ensure that organizational programs are based on impact. And lastly, what we do, we analyze data and identify key lessons learned to inform future programming.
Sonke has a policy development and advocacy unit. In this unit, we have policy analysts, researchers, and legal practitioners or lawyers. And this is a team of experts who take forward the work of Sonke around policy reform, challenging gaps, and anything around policy that marginalized the already marginalized or vulnerable groups. If you look at the South African NSP and National Strategic Plan, we ensure that even the lowest person in the community understand what the National Strategic Plan is all about in terms of promoting their rights.
Our role as SAP Awards is to pass funds to other implementing partners that we work with in different countries. So we manage the risk that comes in with the aspect of funding or passing funds to those organizations. And then we monitor how they are performing, whether they are compliant to their contractual obligations and donor rules and regulations. We also make sure that all partners are audited.
Our regional program interventions are aligned to the Men Engage Africa Alliance. Sonke is the Secretariat of Men Engage Africa, and through that we work through our partners in 24 African countries across different thematic areas: sexual reproductive health and rights, GBV prevention, women, peace and security, men care, and HIV prevention.
We do use different methodologies and approaches, and the one that I'm going to talk about is gender equality and social inclusion as an approach that we adopt in different programmings that we do. Basically, it's a multifaceted process of transformation that seeks to challenge and then transform social norms and gender norms. It asks critical questions and fundamental questions like whose rights are being violated, whose rights are not protected, who is not included within the interventions that are being implemented, who is vulnerable within our community setting. It also asks questions like, is diversity restricted? So Jesse as an approach assists us to examine critically those social structures to say, how can all of us enjoy equal rights and be all included? So we are looking at the key stakeholders because we want to co-create the whole solution for the discrimination, gender-based violence and stigma for LGBTIQ+ people.
Our gender transformative approaches, these are approaches that we use to strive and examine and challenge the power imbalances that bring about inequality. And these imbalances are deeply entrenched into our culture, norms, and practices. So Sonke uses this approach in different ways through our advocacy campaigns to ensure the rights of the people that are marginalized are really fought for. Secondly, we support the communities to come up with their own solutions on what can be changed within that particular community. We strengthen the capacity of different people at different layers in the community. The religious leaders, the traditional leaders, the parents, the teachers, the community leaders. We strengthen their capacity so that they can take leads in challenging the harmful norms and practices within their communities.
One of the programs that we do as Sonke under gender transformative approach is equality in the workplace. We're looking at the gender disparities amongst men and women, the gender payment gap, and also looking at social inclusivity within the workplace. We allow participants to actually introspect and look into their own culture and beliefs and how much of that they are bringing into the workplace.
We are grateful that we have had a consistent number of philanthropists and donors that are willing to invest in this work. And the resource mobilization team does an excellent job in ensuring that they identify further funding for the organization to make sure that we achieve the results that we want to see in society.